Mercury signifies the versatile energy of the sun of mind, the soul. It is interchangeable for the sun, S-O-N, and stands for the mediator or intermediary between the father and the mother, between spirit and matter, and yet is the result of the union of these two. This association of Mercury with the lower and higher mind produces that interior struggle between the exoteric not self and the esoteric self, between the form consciousness and the soul within all forms. It will be obvious to you that the task of Mercury in connection with humanity has gone forward most satisfactorily and has brought humanity to its present point of evolution upon the probationary path.
Mercury spreads the light of the soul, intuitive and illuminating, upon the situation, to interpret for us, through our own illumined minds, the significance of events, and to relate the old and the new, the past and the future, through the light of the present. Hence, the subjective usefulness of the present general trend towards meditation processes, which brings about the capacity to be impressed from on high, technically understood, and to be illumined by the light of the soul.
We can begin to apply the hints and teachings that Master D.K. gives us relating to the quaternary of Mercury, which we looked at in our opening to the energies of Libra, and deeply consider in our meditations on the path of discipleship that we are developing the mind and holding that mind steady in the light of the soul, the light of mind, and the light of matter, as we seek to conquer glamour and illusion. Three minds unite. The words of power for the fifth ray, to be accomplished in this, the fifth subrace of the fifth root race. Ponder on the importance of Mercury and the progression that occurs as we process together.
In correlating to the crosses, you can see where the influence of Mercury becomes vitally important on the mutable cross through Gemini and Virgo, where the adaptable mind of Gemini and the soul conscious mind of Virgo births the Christ principle. On the fixed cross, the cross of discipleship, the hierarchical ruler, Mercury, assists disciples and initiates in conquering glamour and illusion and devitalizing Maya. The mind of Scorpio, bringing the light of the soul, the light of mind, and the light of matter together in the technique of the light used to dissipate glamour.
The astrological symbols for Virgo and Scorpio are triple in nature: matter, Mercury, mankind. The only two which are. When the disciple grasps the meaning behind this triplicity, he will be ready to grasp the significance of this abstruse science, the science of triangles, and to work with the new astrology. Virgo and Scorpio are two signs connected with the growth of the Christ consciousness. Both Virgo and Scorpio mark critical points in the soul's experience, points of integration, wherein the soul is consciously at one-ing itself with the form and at the same time with spirit.
When Mercury, the divine messenger, the principle of illusion, and the expression of the active higher mind, has performed his mission and led humanity into the light, and the Christ child out of the womb of time, the significance of esoteric astrology will emerge more clearly in your minds if you can understand this fourfold activity of Mercury in Aries, Gemini, Scorpio, Virgo, and the interrelation of these four signs of the zodiac.
Let's pause for a minute and consider this quaternary that we first looked at in our exploration of the energies of Libra, where the mind is held steady in the light, and relate to these four zodiacal signs the influence of Mercury that comes through in this quaternary to move us along on the path of evolution and the path of discipleship. As Master DK noted the importance of the study of Scorpio prior to the Capricorn experience, we'll look more carefully at Mars, as Mars is the dominating factor in the tests and trials of the disciple prior to the experience in Sagittarius and the initiation in Capricorn.
The tests and trials and eventual triumph in Scorpio as the world disciple. These tests and trials lead from initiation to initiation along the Antakarana, as the soul vehicle moves to the next subplane of the higher mental plane, and then on to identification on the subplanes of the spiritual triad, into ashramic life. Along the path from the first to the fourth initiation, at each point until the final stage, when the jewel is revealed and the shattering of the causal body occurs. Recapitulations of previous lives and achievements, glimpses of the resolution of karma, the fulfilling of dharma and duty. Spiraling, stepping up to the next point of identification on the next subplane, as each indicates renewing and expanding life, quality and appearance. Each step there appears increasing radiance. over the course of many lives, achieving, integrating, learning, absorbing, blending, fusing, opening the vortices, these petals created by the solar angel, continuously and sometimes simultaneously experiencing what you might have thought was already integrated and achieved, to fall into the next glamour, a new illusion, recovering to move forward and become in this process of becoming one with the soul, life as love and soul is group. Always mindful of self-criticism, for that is a glamour and a hindrance, as is self-aggrandizement or pride in these achievements along the way.
Love is the faculty inherent in the present. It's the hidden energy of the planetary logos of which he must avail himself and focus in his heart center and thus apply. First, it should be noted that the words knowledge, love, and sacrifice mean much more occultly than the apparent significance of the terms. Each circle of petals stands for one of these three ideas, and each circle again embodies these three aspects of existence in a greater or lesser degree. These three concepts are the modes of expression of the three great qualities which, from the standpoint of the past, the present, and the future, characterize the natures of all the manifesting entities, gods, men, and devas. From the standpoint of the central factor in manifestation, man, it should be realized that knowledge was inherent in the previous solar system and is the faculty of which he has to avail himself. It is there available for his use. It is the hidden energy of the planetary logos which he has to learn to focus through his physical brain and thus apply.
For those of us who utilize the meditative process of bringing in the flow of love and intelligence from the spiritual triad through the soul vehicle, it is interesting to note the correlations in Scorpio. 3 becomes 9, the 9 tests and trials. The 3 circles become 9 petals. And there is potentially a really critical correlation to the triangles that are formed for the individual and then for the group. And the note from DK is that these triangles open depending on the rays. So one cannot assume that all the love petals, for example, are opened for a group. And one cannot assume that all the knowledge petals are opened for all in a group. So it's really critical that we step back from our application to individuals and consider as a group how we're working together. And the combination of rayology among the group members and the different stages that people are along the path of discipleship creates a powerful vortex of a kind of shared and blended and fused energy that allows us to do more and actually do in a group what we cannot do as individuals.
In the study of the science of triangles, Master DK goes into more depth on the 3 tests of Scorpio, intimately connecting to the readiness of the threefold personality. The fact of the three tests, each existing in their three stages, may convey a hint to the esoteric astrologers as to the purpose of the three decanates, into which each sign is divided. Each test, and therefore each decanate, concerns the three aspects which, in this treatise of the seven rays, we have called life, quality, and appearance. Thus, the three great tests in Scorpio are 9 tests, and hence the 9-headed hydra or serpent, which is ever associated with Scorpio, and hence also the nature of the stupendous victory achieved by Hercules, the sun god, in this sign. In our esoteric healing alignment, we use a series of superimposed triangles, beginning with the extraplanetary triangle, Avatar of Synthesis, Spirit of Peace, and the Lord Buddha. Then we superimpose the planetary triangles, Shambhala, Hierarchy, and Humanity. As we have noted in the opening to the energies of the previous signs, in the study of the signs of triangles, the student must bear in mind that there is always one point of the triangle which in a particular crisis or event in consciousness is the emanating dynamic conditioning energy. During the cycle, great or small, major or minor, in which it thus controls the other 2 points, express receptivity and are regarded esoterically as embodying forces. Every triangle is therefore the expression of one fundamental energy and of 2 secondary forces. This is a basic statement of importance and the formulation of a law under which all the triplicities of energy function in time and space.
And just a note, it is important to realize that when we bring the extraplanetary triangles, energies, those 3, superimposed over this triangle of Shambhala, Hierarchy, and Humanity, and then over our group, we are creating the 9 from the 3.
The planetary triangle, Shambhala, Hierarchy, Humanity. Let us remember that this planetary triangle evokes the energies of the 3 crosses, guiding the evolutionary process over the eons, involving expansion of consciousness in the life of a planetary logos, in the one in whom we live and move and have our being. The mutable cross, the unrepentant thief, is humanity. The cardinal cross, the cross of Christ, Shambhala. The fixed cross, the repentant thief, hierarchy.
In Scorpio, the disciple undergoes those tests which enable him to take the second initiation and demonstrate that the desire nature is subdued and conquered, and that the lower nature is, by being lifted up in the air, that is, into heaven, capable of reaching the goal for this world period, and that from the earthy foundations of Scorpio, the personality can be so tested that it shows fitness for the world service demanded in Aquarius. This is beautifully expressed for us in the legend of Hercules, the sun god who overcomes the 9-headed hydra or serpent of desire by being forced to his knees, and from that position of humility lifts up the serpent into the air, and then deliverance comes. 1. To reorient the personality to the life of the soul. 2. To evidence readiness for initiation. 3. to demonstrate sensitivity to the plan, thus becoming the one-pointed disciple in Sagittarius. These are the three major tests, which are divided into 3 stages, and upon the path of discipleship, the man may find himself passing into this sign for testing and experience 9 times. Keynotes. The keynotes of this sign are, therefore, test, trial, and triumph. They also can be called struggle, strength, and Sagittarian attitude.
Where personality force dominates, the effects will be destructive and may temporarily hinder divine purpose. Nevertheless, even force which is turned to destructive end can and does finally work towards good, for the trend of the evolutionary force is unalterable, being based on the will to good of divinity itself. The inpouring soul energy can be slowed down or speeded on its way according to the purpose, aspiration, and the orientation of the entity, human or national. It can express soul purpose or personality selfishness, but the innate urge to betterment will inevitably triumph.
The tests, the heads of the Hydra. 1. Sex. 2. Physical comfort. 3. Money. The tests of appetite. Purification of the sacral center. 4. Fear. 5. Hate. 6. Ambition. The tests connected with desire and the astral plane. Transmutation of solar plexus center, lifting to the heart center. 7. Pride. 8. Separateness. 9. Cruelty. The tests of the lower critical mind. Dissipation of glamour. Integration of the personality. When these faults are realized and are overcome, the result is twofold: the establishing of right relations with the soul and also with the environment. These 2 results are the goal of all tests in Scorpio.
Ponder upon these points in the triangle of initiation and learn the lesson of appetite, of desire, and of self-will, for they are many and useful. The 3 tests in Scorpio concern the 3 aspects of the human being as they fuse and blend upon the physical plane. They are, first of all, the test of appetite. This appetite is the natural predilections and tendencies which are inherent in the animal nature, and these are mainly 3: sex or natural affinity, physical comfort, and money as concretized energy. The lesson of appetite, Scorpio, carries the test right down into the physical plane life, and then, when it is faced and handled there, the life of the man is carried up into heaven, and the problem which the test involved is solved by the use of the reasoning mind. Ponder upon, secondly, the tests connected with desire and the astral plane. These are subtler in nature, producing automatic effects upon the physical plane. They are not inherent in the animal nature, but are imposed by the desire nature, and are again 3 in number: fear, hatred, and ambition, or desire for power. The lesson of desire. Taurus governs desire and carries the test into the emotional or astral plane, and carries desire sensitivity up from the form side of life into that world of sensitive perception which we call the intuitional plane. Ponder upon these points and learn the lesson. for they are many and useful. Then there are, thirdly, the tests of the lower critical mind, which are pride, separativeness, and cruelty. Remember that the worst kind of cruelty is not of a physical nature, but is more mental in character. Pisces, the lesson of self-will, continuously addressed on every level. Pisces carries the test into the region of the mental processes, which is the reflection of the will aspect of divinity. The problem of the initiate in this sign is voiced by Christ in the words, "Father, not my will, but thine be done." The tests carry the self-will of the personality up into the region of the divine will, and the result is inspiration and the emergence of a world savior. Taurus, the lesson of desire; Scorpio, the lesson of appetite.
In part 2, we'll look more in depth at the triangles that Scorpio is related to other signs that are of particular importance to us. This one, Scorpio, Pisces, and Taurus, directly relates to these lessons in terms of spirit and the relationships that follow as the energies move from the zodiacal signs into the planetary life of our planet, and how the lesson of appetite is carried down and the test is carried down into the physical plane life, and the problem must be solved by the reasoning mind. We'll look at this more carefully in relation to Taurus and Pisces, as Scorpio brings strength related to initiation.
If students will study this information in connection with that given elsewhere, in connection with the nations and other cities, the interrelations now emerging in world affairs will be seen as the result of the play of these forces and energies, and as therefore to a certain extent unavoidable. The use of the energy may be along wrong lines, producing separation and trouble. It may be along right lines, leading to eventual harmony and understanding, but the energy is there and must make its effects felt. As in the individual life, as the result of the play of soul energy upon the form aspect, one or the other of the rays will dominate. If the person or the nation is spiritually oriented, the result of the energy impact will be good and will lead towards the working out of the divine plan, and thus be wholly constructive.
Think in terms of energies and forces, of lines of force and energy relationships. Vibration, light, sound, color, rotation, movement of the fires. As we seek to stand in spiritual being with the fire of mind.
Scorpio, the agent of deception, the dweller on the threshold. Quote, "And the word said, let Maya flourish, and let deception rule." Unquote. The light of liberation, the angel of the presence. Quote, "Warrior I am, and from the battle I emerge triumphant." Unquote. Scorpio, the light of day. This is the place where three lights meet: the light of form, the light of soul, and the light of life. They meet, they blend, they rise. Together and in vocal unison, the group says, "Radiance we are and power. We stand forever with our hands stretched out, linking the heavens and the earth, the inner world of meaning and the subtle world of glamour. We reach into the light and bring it down to meet the need. We reach into the silent place and bring from thence the gift of understanding. Thus, with the light we work and turn the darkness into day."
Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva tenopa tisadrido me bawa sutokayo me bawa supokayo me bawa anuraktu me bawa sarvasiri me prayata sarva karma sutsa me sittam shriyam kurung.
I am the world disciple, humanity. I, the eagle, I, the dove. I, the will imbued with love. Wings that rip the blazing sky, talons grip that foes may die. Wings that touched the darkened earth, fanning forth the sacred birth. Not the future, not the past, only now where all is cast. I, the carbon, I, the coal, I, the shining diamond soul. The alchemy, the golden goal, the sum of parts united whole. Far the journey, long the road, tall the mountain, large the load. Dark the cave, the ancient wall, loud the din, the dweller's call, soft the whisper song of soul, faint the flame that fires the goal, till symphony of light takes toll. I, the candle, I, the flame, I, the essence, I, the name, I, the source from which I came, I, the seed, and I, the womb, I, the sepulchre and tomb, I, the birth, and I, the death, I, the intervening breath. I, the story, aeons old, I, the history yet untold, I, the mystery to unfold, I, the sun, and I, the star, shining spiral, reaching far, fractaling in countless ways, breaking pathways through the maze. I, the particle and wave, I, the master and the slave, I, the portal and the path, primal cause and aftermath. I, the pilgrim's upturned face, I, the angel, blazing grace.
Please join us for opening of the energies to Scorpio as an esoteric group advancing along the path of discipleship in part 2 on November 11th, 3 p.m. GMT.